Hello and welcome to Hobby Vlog number 237. Now, would you believe it, but this week we're voting for week 26. So when I paint this, it'll be halfway through the year. Where is the year going of my Reaper challenge? And we'll get into that. I'll explain to you what that means. But first of all, here's a picture of what I painted last week. It was a lot of fun painting this miniature, or these two miniatures actually, the Egyptian Priestess and Baboon. I had a lot of fun, and the paint video for that will come out tomorrow on the An Average Painter YouTube channel. Last week there were three-way tie. One of the new miniatures actually, the Toolbots, got 3 votes. I think one other, I can't remember which of the other one that was that got 3 votes, but the one that I rolled for randomly was Borin Ironbrow, who is a dwarf barbarian. So he is who I'll be painting up, dwarf fighter even. He's who I'll be painting up next week, or this week coming. What this is all about is I've got a big pile of unpainted Reaper miniatures, which actually just a couple of weeks ago I added more to, because yeah, why not? Anyway, and so what I'm doing is every week I'm picking out 10 of those miniatures randomly, roll a random number and pick that out of the list, and that's what's on screen now. So all you need to do is pick one of those miniatures, leave a comment below telling me which one you want me to paint, and the one that gets the most votes I will be painting the week after, which will be next week. There is actually a list in the description of this video with a link to the Reaper website, so you can see what each miniature looks like and make your mind up more easily that way. Now, every single vote is an entry into a prize. Now, I'm drawing that prize once a month at the end of every month, and everyone that's voted gets their entry for each of the weeks they've voted, and the winner will pick one of the miniatures I painted in the previous month, and these will also be aggregating into a big competition at the end of the year. It's just for fun, but it is really inspiring me, and it's kept me through a massive hobby lag time. So thank you to everyone that's taken part so far, and thank you to everyone that will take part this week. It's awesome. Please do vote. I've had a much busier week this week. It's going to be a longer vlog than I've done for a little while. I'm slowly but surely grinding back into doing more hobbying. So I'm going to stop rambling now. Thanks for voting, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again at the end. Alright, the miniature for this week is Egyptian Priestess and Baboon. I've wanted to paint this for a long time. Ooh. So yeah, pretty excited actually, to be quite honest. So we have, let me see if I can get this focused in. We have a little baboon, and we have an Egyptian Priestess. So you all seem to really like picking miniatures that are going to get me strikes on my painting channel. I actually got a strike. I peeled it and won, but I got a strike for pornography on one of my on the thumbnail for the Harpy supervillain. So I suppose that does show that I'm painting them pretty accurately, because I thought it was a real person. But whatever, they said, oh yeah, you're right, sorry, and took it back, thankfully. But anyway, so what I'm going to do now is clean this up, take all the flash off it, get that scrubbed in hot water, stick it to a base. I'm not sure whether I might stick them to two bases, might do that, so that this can be like an avatar and move around a little bit differently. Get them primed, and then I'll bring it back and show what it looks like when that's all done. They're not going to have a special base done like I did for the Stone Giant. They're just going to be done on a normal base with a sandy, because it's Egyptian, isn't it? So yeah. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's get this done. And I've got these primed and glued and everything. It's been a really busy start to the week, so it's Tuesday when I've not even started painting. I'm hoping to get some time a bit later on today and get some colours on these. Shouldn't be too difficult to paint, I don't think, and then when they're painted I'll bring you back, show what it looked like before I do the basing. So yeah, really easy to clean up, wasn't very much flash, and really easy to prime as well. Right, now we absolutely are doing the final bit for this build, aren't we, love? You're very excited. So we'll put the camera down and zoom in on where we're going to go. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting some of this material, which is the really super cheap stuff, which I thought I didn't like, but I now realise it's really, really good for what we're about to do. So Rosie is going to be in charge of scattering.
Look.
Have you got? Oh, cover. Okay.
Look.
Oh dear. Right. Right. Stand straight round. Right. So we're going to put some glue down here, and you're going to do your scattering thing, aren't you? So let me just get the glue in.
What is it though?
This is kind of like, I think it looks very much like stuff that's like brambles and things like that. So scatter it along there. That's it. Put a bit more. Put a bit more. Quick, quick, quick.
So it dries?
I'll get in there as well. You do some more as well. Just going to help you. So this is going to give a nice texture to the bottom of this little cliff. Make it look a little bit more scrubby.
Because of the army.
Yeah, and we'll do some proper pictures and talk through what you want. So you wanted it to go in somewhere else, didn't you, as well, love?
Yes,
I had put the glue down in the wrong place, then. Where did you want it to go?
I want it to go around here.
Let's just do a little patch up there, shall we?
Okay.
Let's do a little patch up there. So I'll do a little patch of glue, and then you do your scattering. So just around here.
Yeah.
Right. So put some glue on. Right, get some ready to scatter. Right, drop it on there. That's it. Very good. Good scattering technique. You know what? I'm going to bring the camera around and show that off. That was very good. Oh, there we are. So we've got a little patch here. So do you want to do some more? Should we do another little patch? A little patch there, right. So I will get the glue, put the glue on. You get ready to drop it. Right, you do your scattering. Go, go, go. Excellent scattering technique. Careful you don't knock the jar over. Good. Right, so we'll let that dry and I'll come back later and I will seal that, which is basically you put 100% alcohol in it and it soaks through and then you put some more glue on it. And then we're done, aren't we, Roo? Yeah, and it looks great. Really, really pleased. Oh, we're not done. We're not done. The one final thing we're going to have to do, you have to cut it out. Got to cut it out. So we'll cut it out of its base. So, yeah. Or maybe we should... No, we'll cut it out. We'll cut it out. Yeah, we'll cut it out.
Why can't we paint it?
Well, I was just thinking, maybe we shall. We'll have me and Rosie. We'll have a chat, and we'll decide whether we're going to cut it out or whether we're going to texture the surround and have it as a square. With, I'm just a bit worried that it might warp. That's all. But me and Rosie will have a chat to see whether we'll do that or not. But
yeah.
Either way, we're done for now, aren't we, love?
Yeah.
What do you say?
Bye.
Well, I got the green done as well as the blue, as you can see. I think it looks really nice. I showed it to Rosie yesterday and she loved it. So that means a lot to me, obviously. So the next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to make up these, make up the sails. Sorry, forgot what they're called. Masts, that's the word. Going to make up the masts. So we've got 2 masts on this one. I thought, oh no, well, 1 mast on this one. I need to fill that gap in, actually. I need to fill those gaps in. That's something else I need to do. So I need to fill those gaps in, make up the masks, paint them, and then put them in place. I need to take these down and paint these, so I'll probably do that today. Get those glued in, and then we're pretty much done and dusted. So we're finally getting nearly done on these, which is taken a lot longer than expected, but then it's been a lot longer, a lot busier life than I expected. Oh, kicked a lot busier life than I expected to have. So yeah, but I'm pleased I got the colouring done. I'm really happy with how they look. I'll bring them along when I'm assembling the masts, I'll just get some filler put on these. I think I've got some wood filler around somewhere. Just put some filler in that and then paint it over at the same time as I'm painting the masts. Well, after the last clip, we did a little bit of sealing on the stuff we did using alcohol and glue, and I wanted to see how well it was going to interact with the static grass, and I can tell you that it interacted pretty well. So alcohol is not something that Rosie wants to be fiddling with. She was complaining about the smell, bless her heart. So what I'm going to do is, while she's not here, she's at school, it's going to probably take a little while to do this, to be honest, because it's quite a large job. But what I'm going to do, I need to take these trees out again, is I'm going to seal up all of the grass in its entirety. So the way we do this, I keep dropping that on the floor, never mind, is I've got a dropper and I'm going to drop alcohol. This is 99% isopropyl. So we drop that on all over it. And I'll do this in sections, because yeah, otherwise it's going to go mad. Lots and lots of alcohol is going to go on. do this whole area. Up to the end of the cliff, I think. And I'll include the colour bits as well. Oh yeah, right, lots and lots and lots and lots of alcohol on. So then we'll take a similar pipette and we'll drop it on over where we've put the alcohol. And it will spread out, as you can see. And this will also take a long time, so I'll probably stop filming now. But basically going to do this, I'll let that dry and then do the next section, then let that dry and then do the next section. So it's going to take probably a while to do this. Don't know how much time I'm going to have today. I'll do as much as I can today. But this is the idea. Alcohol over the lot, and it will now seal absolutely everything in. The static grass will no longer fall off. All of the flock will stay where it should stay. And yeah, everything should be rocking and rolling. So and it will dry. I know it looks very, very bad at the moment in terms of how white it is, but it does dry clear. You can do this with a spray if you can get your PVA mix to not be too solid. Mine's just too thick, and so the spray just clogs entirely. But these pipettes work really well. So yeah, we're just going to cover the whole lot. I will bring you back a bit later and show you what it looks like. Well, I just stood here and did it all in one go, and you can see there's lots and lots of glue all over the place. But I'm showing you this so that when you see it dried, you can see that is all going to go clear and it's all going to look fine. Now, if you are a little bit worried about the glue and it does pull down the bottom sometimes, you just come along with a paper towel and mop it up a bit if you want to. You don't need to do that. If you get the right glue, and I have the right glue, which is going to dry clear, then it's just not a problem at all. But if you are worried, you can mop it up as simply as that, just by coming in and dabbing with the paper towel. So there we are. I'll leave that to dry. Probably take a day or so. It's a lot there, but it is very warm. It's very, very warm. It's a great time of the year to be doing this because this dries much quicker. So I'll let that dry and show you what it looks like when it's dried, and then we're going to be cutting it out, and then we're finished. And it's only a few hours, really, maybe 3 or 4 hours after I did this, and yeah, it's almost entirely dry already, which is one of the benefits of working in the summer. Now the bit that isn't dry, oops, not that tree, is just here, so I do have to leave it a little bit longer, but you can see that it's basically totally and utterly dried, transparent, and everything is now really locked in place. So I'm pretty pleased with that. So tomorrow, after Rosie gets home from school, we'll cut that out and this will be done. Well, the deliveries keep on coming. The Kickstarters keep arriving. Things have been very delayed by slow post and what have you. So that's why these are all arriving in a rush. So this is another Free League. Big fan of the Free League. I back a lot of their stuff, actually. Having said old Kickstarters, I'm actually backing a current one at the moment. So this is Mutant Year Zero Zone Wars, and we have 2 boxes, so I'll just have a quick look at these. Let's get that out the way. So we have Robots and Psionics and Skirmish Mayhem in the Mutant Year Zero universe. So you can see we've got a duck, which is what attracted me to this. It's a cool duck miniature with a crossbow. There's some cool miniatures. That's what attracted me to it. And then in the Robots and Psionics, there's 10 more miniatures, and they're really cool as well. Really fun to look into paint. So yeah, I'm gonna actually let's have a quick look at them. Why not? Come on, let's get these open. Get rid of this single-use plastic. You know how much I love that stuff. I'm not sure if or when I'll ever play this, However, I will attempt to get time to paint the miniatures, which is what I bought it for, really. And then the game is a bonus, isn't it? Oh, come on, this is not very easy to open. There we are. I've got it SKUF. Right, so what do we have? We have a paper paper mat even. We have some tiles. Oh, we have some cardboard terrain. That's pretty cool. Lots of cardboard terrain. I completely forgot what was in this. So that's going to have to be made. Some more tokens. We have a rule book, and it's already smelling great. Let me give it a quick sniff. You know what? That is a good strong smell. Goodness me. So I'll have a look at that. We have some. Oh, it's got a plastic cover over it, which is quite nice. Keeps it nice and safe. So we have some cards. And we have some more cards. Some of these seem to be items, and this seems to be character cards. So that's pretty cool. And that's nice how that works, how that fits together. We've got two different types of dice. We've got a D6, and we've got two D6s with just different colours. And then we've got the miniatures. Look at that duck. I'm going to have to paint that, aren't I? Look at that. So what I'll probably do is paint it. I'll probably mask off the base, paint it, and leave the base, the colour, so that it's obvious which is which faction. There's a moose. A moose with a big baseball bat with some nails hammered through it. And then on this side, we've got a guy with butterfly wings. They're actually quite nice in terms of how they've like almost sun dropped them, as it were. I don't think it is sun dropped because that's someone else's branding. So this is a guy in a diving suit, a diving helmet. So there we are. That's pretty cool. Right. So what I'll do is I'll put that away, and I'll come back in a minute and show you what the other box has. I've got that out of the plastic, and I've also taken the lid off to avoid the pain that I had the last time. Get rid of that silica gel. Always nervous of that stuff. So once again, we've got some tokens and some nice cardboard terrain. It's really cool. Some more tokens, some more terrain, and the instructions on how to assemble the terrain as well. So that's what it's going to look like. Brilliant. That's awesome. And we have the robots and psionics. It's got a scenario, a couple of scenarios from the looks of it, which is pretty cool. Not such a strong smell on that one. Not such a good smell on that one. Can't win them all though, can you? And then once again, we have our little plastic cover. We have more dice, cards the same. So the items and the character cards. And let's have a look at these miniatures, which, as I've said, is why I bought it. So again, these have been kind of pre-painted, and I think they're really, really good. But I will try and paint them. I think I'll go off of the artwork on the cards when I paint them. So if we look for that one, where's that one? That one's him, isn't it? Yeah, there we are. Bender. Brilliant miniatures. I think this is the one that I saw that I really, really liked. On his little tracks. Just really fat tracks, and he's got a really skinny body. It made me laugh. And then the psionics are pretty cool as well. Really nice kind of purple wash put on them. Anyway, there we are. So that is that. That is what I've received. And yeah, I would really like to get those painted up. Though, obviously, I say they look nice even without being painted. So if you're not a painter, I would recommend this because, yeah, they look great even without having to paint. But I particularly want to paint your man the duck. Anyway, there we are. Mutant Year Zero Zone Wars finally arrived. Well, this hasn't been done for a very long time here. Printed out 2 lions, one small, one big, and they're going to be Aslans. So the small Aslan is going to be for the diorama, or the build I'm doing with Rosie, and the large Aslan I'm going to give to Rosie. Now, I'm not, obviously, you can see it's still on its tray. It printed last night, so I've not checked it completely, but I can't see any failures, obviously. So what I'm going to do now, take that all off of the plate, give it a wash, give it a clean, and hopefully we'll find that they printed out fully successfully, which would be nice. Well, they printed out okay. So I'll get those, let those dry from the hot water I've just washed them in, and then get them cured, and then we'll start painting them. Pretty excited actually. First time I've printed anything for months and months and months, and I did print something a few months ago and it failed, and I kind of like just got busy with work as well. So what I'm going to try and do now, I'm going to try and finish off printing that other thing as well, and then that can go into the pile. It's another little miniature for Rosie. Well, they turned out to be a lot of fun to paint. I looked on some pictures, some art actually from Egypt, to find out what a priestess would have worn, thinking that they were doing something like purple or whatever, but it turns out they wore white, which was a lot of fun to paint. I don't paint white very often, so I had a lot of fun painting her up. So what we're going to do now is do some basing. The basing is just going to be sandy, so I'm just going to make use of probably the Mediterranean soil, because, well, Egypt's on the other side of the bed, isn't it? Kinda. So yeah, going to use some Mediterranean soil. I'll get that done and get the rooms painted, and then bring it back and show what it looks like. But yeah, pretty nearly completed against all the odds again. Did that in like 2 sessions, which is really cool. So I spent quite a bit of time thinking about this, and I have set these on the floor and moved these other units, dragged them out of the way. They are so heavy, those units that were on the floor before. One of the benefits of doing that is I haven't had to cut down these shelves any, which is good. It fits in, as you can see, pretty nicely, fits in between these two, and it fits at that end as well, so no more cutting needed to be done. Of course, it also means I didn't actually need to empty those shelves or take that shelf down, but hey, you know, whatever. I need to do what I got to do, and I was definitely planning on putting these on top, but I think that's going to work quite nicely. So the next thing to do is to decide whether I'm going to tie them to the wall. I think I'm probably not going to bother. I don't think they're going to fall. They've got these big bases, so they're actually not, they're pretty stable. So if I decide not to do that, the next thing will be, I have all these shelves here, and I've actually got more downstairs, because when I bought these for my DVDs, I didn't use all the shelves they came with. So I've got loads and loads of shelves, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start setting out my miniatures on them. And I'm also going to try and tidy this room up, because it's an absolute state. It's like a bomb's gone off. But yeah, so progress is made. Try and get onto setting out. Like I said, I think the next thing to do will be to start setting the miniatures out, and I'll try and get onto that soon. Well, there we are. Finished these. I did actually change my mind slightly. I did the basing with my dust from my back garden rather than using any of Luke's, and it's worked out really, really well. So there we are. That's done and dusted. That's the 2 miniatures this week, not 1, which is good. I can count that as 2. I'm pretty happy to do that. And yeah, if you haven't yet voted, do vote. Let me know what you think I should paint next week. Your vote will be counted, and you could be in with a chance of winning one of these miniatures if you do vote, because yeah, get involved, and it is massively inspirational. It's helped me get through a crazy period of my life where I've been so busy and I've been able to do anything, but I've been able to keep these up, and that's been very valuable to me for my mental health and just for the fun of it. So yeah, thank you ever so much to everyone. Right, onwards and upwards. I've been playing around with the rigging, and it's actually quite easy. This isn't going to be very much help, unfortunately. I think that they've changed quite a lot in the new version. But you've still got the old Dark Ops, and this is how you do it. So you put the 2 bits down there, and then this slots in the middle, and then you slide these on there, which is quite tight, and then that will be able to attach there. Now, of course, if you want to magnetize it, you can, but what I'm going to do now is put a little bit of PVA glue here and here, and then a little bit of PVA glue here and here, and that will then be stuck in place, and I will then be able to paint the whole assembly and make it a little bit easier. And I have another one exactly the same of these to build. I'll try and remember, but I don't know if I will manage to remember, but I'll try and remember to put on screen, because this one is going to be slightly different, and I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do it. If I come back to, if I didn't put it on screen for the picture, this one wants to be at a kind of an angle, because I'm doing it slightly differently rigged. So that's going to be a bit more fun to work out how to do it. But I'll get this one first. The blue one's going to be done like this first. So just get a little bit of glue, make the other one up, and I'm not going to stick these in place just yet because I want to paint them not on the boat. So yeah, so this just comes out as you can see. So I'm going to get these glued together, and then I will and then I'll bring it back and show what it looks like. I'm not 100% sure that I've got these the right way around. They're not symmetrical, so yeah, I'm presuming that I've got them the right way around. I'm thinking it's like that potentially, because then that goes like that, but I don't know. So that's how we're going to do it anyway. That's how we're going to do it. I'll get this glued together, I'll bring it back, show what it looks like, and then we'll work on the other one, and I'll show you how I'm going to do the angled. And right now I don't know how I'm going to do it. I printed out this huge lion, and I'll try and remember to put a link to it. It's on my mini factory. It wasn't very expensive, but it's printed out beautifully. And I'm going to paint this up as Aslan and give this as a gift to Rosie for her to play with, because she loves Narnia. Aslan is probably one of her favourite characters. So yeah, so it's printed out fine, absolutely perfect. I increased the size by 350%, so it's a monstrous hunk of resin, but whatever. And I've been wondering what base to put it on, and I've decided to make use of this, which is the terrain tile system from Sarissa. And I bought loads of it and never use it, so this is a good option and a good chance to use it. So what I'm going to do, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to seal the base. So this is to prevent warping from occurring, because when you're putting glue and all sorts of stuff onto MDF, it almost always warps. Now I do have some real MDF primer, but I've found that just my normal watered down PVA works absolutely fine. And this will dry very quickly. It's very warm today, so it won't take very long to dry. And then once this is dry on both sides, I'll bring you back, and what we're going to do is we're going to put some sand and some gravel on this, which will then paint and what have you, and then put some static grass on it, and then I will glue the lion to it, because I want this to be a really nice thing. I don't know whether she'll play with it or stick it on her shelf, but either way I really want her to enjoy this, and I want to do a really good job. Now, spoiler alert, you're going to see another Aslan happening, and I'm not sure whether I'll record this one or the other one, which is smaller, for the painting channel, but I'm going to record one of these because yeah, I think it'd be quite fun to record a how do you paint Aslan video, or how do I paint Aslan anyway. So that's enough nattering and chattering. Got that all covered in PVA. I'll let that dry, and then I'll come back and we'll do the sand and the gravel, and I'll turn the camera on when I get to that stage. Well, would you look at that? We have the first one done with its masts, that's the word, and cross beams. So I'm thinking about putting some sails on this, but I'm not sure, but I might do. So if anyone's got any inspiration or idea of how I might do that, then pop that in the comments below, that'd be awesome. The next thing I'm going to need to do is paint up these, which I still haven't done, so I need to take these downstairs and paint them just when I go and paint later on today. And then I also need to work out how I'm going to do the different type of rigging for the green ship, but we'll get to that as well in a minute. Just happy I've got this done. As you can see, I painted them up as well with the same brown, and I think they look really good. I think they look fine, so pretty happy with that. Right, so that's dried, so hopefully now we're not going to have any problem with warping. So what I'm going to do is paint some more glue on, a little bit thicker this time, and we will scatter onto that from my two buckets. So this bucket, I have larger lumps, I call it my number 3, and I think in the description of every single one of my videos you'll find out how I go about that, but basically I have different size of a different mesh size of sieves, and I filter builder's sand through it and get 4 different sizes of stones and sand. Works really well. So here we are, so we'll get this done, Get some glue on. Okay, and then we'll take some larger bits. It's probably a bit too much even that. And then I'll cover the rest of it with the small sand. Like so. Cool. Yeah. And then, right, so I'm going to need to put a little bit more glue on. You can see we've got some gaps in that there. So a little bit more glue in those gaps. And what I might do is put the bigger stones, put some bigger stones in there. And then I'll let that dry, which again won't take long with the weather that we're experiencing right now. It's nice and warm. There we are. Drop a little bit more on top of those just to give them a bit of a seal. Sweet. And there, let that dry, and I'll bring it back to show it looks like when it's dried. And then we'll put some static grass on to make it nice and green, because Aslan should definitely be walking on a very lovely green surface, shouldn't he? And then we'll start painting Aslan. So yeah, there we are. Cool, right. Let's let that dry. Well, would you look at that? So that's worked really, really well. It's a really simple technique that I've used. What I've done is used some house paint, grey house paint and brown house paint underneath where I've just done the static grass, and then null wash over where I wanted to have the grey, and then short spring static grass over the top. Simple, and it looks great. Really, really, really pleased with that. So, sorry, I've got a frog in my throat. So the next one I do, I will film a little bit of it and show how each of the stages. I'm happy enough with how that's turned out to do that. But what I need to do now is stick the Mumakil down, and then that is actually another Mumakil done for my Mumakil Madness for this year. And I can, I've got one downstairs that's just kind of like pottering along, and then I'll need to do the base on that one, and I've got several more that need to have the kind of like just the repairs done, and then two that need to be done from scratch. One of those I'll probably film entirely. So we'll take his head off because I still haven't glued it on, and just super glue on the bottom, and hopefully that'll be enough. Dripping super glue everywhere. Hopefully that'll be enough to hold it. I'm a little bit worried it won't be because it's on top of the static grass, so that could be the thing that I need to adjust, is to actually work out where the feet are going to go and not put static grass so I can glue straight on. But I'll bring you along if that happens. I'll show you what that goes. But yeah, we'll just a bit of super glue, leave that to dry, and paint the rim, and we're done. Brilliant. Alright, so let's get stuck into this next rigging. So this is how it's going to be. This is one of the dowel that came with the kit, and this is another dowel that I had elsewhere, and that's how we're going to be doing it. So what I'm going to do is get my super glue ready, and this is going to be done in a couple of stages. So the first stage, I'm just going to use super glue just to hold it in place, just as a big storm, by the way, so you might hear some thunder, just to hold it in place. Once that's in place, I'm going to get some and relatively secure, I'm going to get some string, and I'm going to wrap the string around it and use super glue to hold that in place, and that's how we will secure it. So let's get that there. We'll pull it out, and as I say, just using some glue, what we'll do is we'll just get that to be kind of like tacked in place enough so that then I can, it's not going to be perfect, this, ideally this should be in the centre, but that's not going to work very well. There we are, it's tacked in place. So with that tacked in place, I'm going to grab myself some string and start winding it around. I'm also covered in super glue, so I'll wait for that to go off before I do this. And then we'll just tie it in with the string, put super glue around it and let that dry. And then I can paint it and hopefully it will be strong enough. Fingers crossed. Right, there we are. I didn't actually record that, I probably should have done. But I've just wound that twine around it to make it nice and solid. So what we'll do now is, again with some super glue, this tube is on its way out, which is why I'm using it like this. But with some super glue we can make that super solid and rigid, like so. And then this tube needs to be thrown away. And then what I could do is trim the two tails I've got, and then that is awesome. There we are. Perfect. That will all go off very, very quickly and be very solid. And then what I'll do is I'll paint it the same as I painted the other one. And but I'll have to wait to make sure that's completely gone off before I paint it. So we'll leave that for there right now. Next thing I'm going to do is, zooming out a bit, fill these holes. I think I'm just going to use Milliput for that, but I'm not sure. Right, I'll leave that to dry. Well, I wasn't going to film this, but then I thought, you know what, I've got to. So what I've got here is I've got a match, and I'm going to try to burn off these little wispy bits without setting fire to everything. Wow. That almost went too far, didn't it? I think I got the wispy bits, and I think I didn't burn everything all the way off. Great, there we are. So next up, I'm going to paint it. Right, we're here with Rosie, and we're going to do the last bit. Now, this is not something that you're going to be able to do. Don't fiddle with that. Something that I'm going to do, because it's a very, very sharp knife. But no, don't worry, it's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to come around here, and we're going to cut out around this. It's going to take a bit of time to do, but eventually we will have our hill without cardboard around it. How about that? Like that, you see? See how sharp the knife is? You need to be respectful of knives, but they won't hurt you if you're careful with them. So do you want to help a bit?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You don't need to be scared of knives, you just need to respect them.
Okay. I will help a little.
Okay, so as we come around here, right, put your hand on top of mine, that's it, and we'll draw it along, you see, and it cuts through, yeah? And then we come along here. You don't need to be scared of knives, you just need to respect them. Okay, so we will get the rest of this cut out, and then we'll come back and show what it looks like when it's done. Here we are, we have our hill. You like it, Roo?
Yes.
It's awesome, isn't it? So we're going to go and show it to Mummy now, yeah?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Why didn't you put this bit off?
I just cut around the edge of the black so that it was not very much cardboard showing. I think it looks really nice. Well done, Rosie. That was really good fun. Thanks for helping with that, okay? Okay. So what do you say to the camera?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Right, the next thing is actually going to be a surprise for Rosie, I've decided. So I've printed this out in 3 sizes. And the smaller, there are actually 4 sizes. This size is the correct size, I think, for Aslan, who is as tall as a human. So if I put, he's definitely bigger than a human. He's a big boy. Put that there. That kind of looks around the correct scale for me. So what we're going to do is we're going to put him onto the base, and then prime him and paint him. And I'm going to do this on the channel. So I will film this on an average painter. So if you're interested, jump over there and you can see how I go about painting this. But first of all, as I say, gonna get him onto a base. So yeah, and I have the smaller one and I have a slightly larger one here, as you can see. It's just a bit big really. So that's going to be cool as well. And I've got the huge one that I'll be painting up as well as part of a separate clips collection, but this is going to go really well with the stone table. And I started printing this months ago, and I printed out all the bodies, and then the wolf failed, and then life got busy and I just stopped. But with the successes I've had recently with the printing of the lions for the other project, I decided to give it another go with the wolf, and the wolf printed out first time this time. And it looks amazing, look at the size of it. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to assemble these. I've started putting them together a little bit, glue them together, and then put that on a base. There is a base you can print for it, which I've not done. I might print it, I'm not sure. But I'm not going to worry about that for now. I'm just going to paint these without a base at first. And I'm going to do the same thing as I normally do, because this comes with both a safe for work and a not safe for work version. So I am going to basically paint both, and then decide which one I'm going to use based on what it looks like. It looks to me like I might need to do some more. These were printed ages ago, but I think I might need to do some more curing. They're not very well cured, so I might have to go and put those back in the yeah, look, you can see I've got some on my finger there. So I'm going to go and put those back in the cure. Looks like the drain hole needs to be cured to solidify those. So I'll go and put those in the curing, then get them glued together, get them primed. I'll show what they look like, and then they'll go and be painted, and that will be onto my an average painter channel. And once they're all painted, I'm going to put this onto a chopping board base, and it's going to be one of my chopping board base series. So yeah, take these down to the curing machine and make sure there's not got any raw resin on it anymore. Well, I'm not filming this, but Rosie is painting her first ever miniature at the moment. We're doing Aslan because I'm painting one and she's painting one. I'm actually going to end up painting two, aren't I? But yeah, so she's painted this herself, and she's doing really, really well. I'm training her how to use not quite so much paint and how to control her brush. And it's a lovely, simple thing to paint, obviously. Currently just two colours, golden brown and a bit of an Agrax Earthshade wash. But yeah, she's doing so well. I'm very proud of her. But I'm not going to film it because it's a private time for me and her. But I did want to just show off what she's doing, because I'm very proud of her. So yeah, there we are. Very, very cool. Another Mook is approaching done. So I finished painting him. What I now need to do is glue the howdah on, like so, and then do the base again. And I will film how I do the base for this one, because it's so super simple that I will do it. I'm considering filming one for an average painter, because actually I can't find anyone who's talked about a good way of painting these bases for the Mooks. I couldn't find any tutorials, so I've had to work it out all for myself. Couldn't find anyone else doing it. And it's so simple, I figure I should probably film it. So there we are. So the howdah glued on, I'm going to let that dry, and then we're going to do the base, and then this will be another one done. So after not getting any done for ages, I've got a sudden rush of achievement there, which is nice. Well, here's an interesting and important lesson. I was priming this one, and found that I was getting covered in resin. And I was like, what's going on? I've glued these together. I definitely put them through the curing machine, and then I realised maybe I didn't put them through the curing machine. So I printed these such a long time ago that I just stuck them to one side, on the side, because everything failed, and I basically didn't have time to do any printing. That was months ago, and I just stuck them on the side and never cured them. So boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, your lesson for today is, if you print something, cure it. Just cure it. It doesn't matter if you either throw it away or cure it, because if you leave it, you'll forget you haven't cured it, and then you get yourself covered in resin, which is okay because I use the water washable and I scrub my hands and what have you. So I'm not worried about the toxicity of it. It's more just was messy. So what I've done is I've had these sit in the sun now for the last 2 days. I know I could put them back in the machine, but I'm not gonna, I've got the time to sit them in the sun, so I've just sat them in the sun in the windowsill, and they are curing now, and there's no longer resin leaking out. One of the issues is they're hollow, which I think is a bit silly for a miniature this size, but they are hollow, which means that resin was actually coming out, if you see, on her inside of her foot. So I'm going to have to seal that as well. I'm going to have to fill that as well. Anyway, there we are. That's your public service announcement from Beardy Weirdy for today. Cure your minis as soon as you print them. Well, there we are. My source files went over 45 minutes today for the first time for ages. I knew I'd had a good week. I've just basically been focusing a bit more on hobbying and taking a bit more time away from my computer, which is much more healthy for me. And yeah, I've really enjoyed it. And particularly the time with Rosie, not all of it videoed, as I've said. Getting her to be painting her first miniature is awesome, and she's having such fun doing it. So I'm really picking it up fast. So I'm going to be printing more things for her to paint, or giving her things I've printed to paint, maybe. I'm not sure. Anyway, there'll be more of that coming. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget to vote. On the screen right now, in the description below, is the list of your options to vote for on the Reaper Miniature Challenge. Pick a name, stick it in the comment below. You'll be entered into a prize to potentially win one of them, and you will help me keep motivated, which is very much appreciated. So I'll wrap up by saying, as I always do, to everyone out there, if any of you are impacted by the war in Ukraine or Israel, either directly or indirectly, or if you know someone who is, then my thoughts do go out to you. I'm in that situation for both of those conflicts, and that's why I say it, because it means a lot to me personally. So yeah, hopefully those wars will finish soon, and the killing can stop. That's what we all want, isn't it? Anyway, and to everyone, please do stay healthy, stay safe, and stay well.